Dynamic performance. Sophisticated British style. MG Pilot Smart Speed Assist. The new standard in performance, style and safety. With so many impressive inclusions, this is value you've never seen before. The all-new MG HS, the SUV you've never seen before.
Welcome to Gibbo Goes One-On-one, driven by MG. My guest today is a Melbourne boy, AAS scholarship holder or Basketball Centre of Excellence, junior Australian rep for many, multiple years, a 4-year Duke graduate and the new Melbourne United signing. Jack White, welcome and thank you, mate, for joining me on Gibbo Goes One-On-One.
Mate, pleasure to be here, mate. Thanks for having me. Got to correct you, though. It's Melbourne boy.
Does that not count as Melbourne?
Nah, mate, I'm country, mate, not metro, so...
I do apologise. We have played many games out there, pre-season games. First of all, welcome back to Melbourne, your home state. You must be excited. I know you've been in lockdown like the rest of us, but to hear the news that, you know, we'll kind of be released a little bit tomorrow and have some kind of freedom. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think it's not going to change a whole lot for me personally. You know, I've just been kind of keeping it low key since I've been back and just trying to focus on, you know, the preseason that we got and each opportunity that we get to go out on the court and be with the fellas. But yeah, definitely, you know, a great thing that, you know, we're moving in the right direction towards normality down here.
Obviously, you know, you guys and us, we went through that scare, the positive test. How hard was that kind of through the lockdown to practice and on day-to-day, you know, kind of restrictions at practice and dealing with all that?
Yeah, it was definitely a bit different, you know, and scary. You know, I ended up getting the virus myself. And at that point when I got it, you know, we didn't really know a whole lot about it. And yeah, it was just, you know, a really unsure time. And, you know, but luckily, you know, we got a lot of testing done to make sure we were good to go and, you know, return to play. And all that came back, you know, pretty positive. So, you know, I've been feeling good since we've been back on the court. And yeah, starting to ramp things up now. So yeah, we're definitely heading in the right direction and really excited as, you know, things continue to progress.
I know a lot of you boys, you know, you had the positive kind of test and whatever. Did it really knock you back? Like I think Mitch maybe was pretty sick there for a little while, but did it really kind of slow you back? And the symptoms, like, can you kind of explain what was it, like a really bad flu? You know, how was it for yourself?
Yeah, it definitely knocked me around for a couple of days. But then after that, you know, kind of felt back to normal. But yeah, it was definitely, you know, had a fever, kind of just felt sluggish. Had a bit of a headache, bit of a cough. Yeah, just pretty much flu-like symptoms. And the timing of it for me, like when it all kind of went down, was just frustrating because I wasn't able to do a whole lot prior to coming back to Australia. And then, you know, with the group, working my way up to being able to play 5-on-5 again and get into the scrimmage and stuff, which was something I was really excited about. And yeah, like right when I was about to play the next day, that was when, you know, kind of everything went down and yeah, it was frustrating. And then, you know, now to obviously, you know, kind of start that process again and now to be at a point now where we're able to go 5-on-5 again and play with contact and yeah, just kind of have things back to normal is refreshing.
I'm assuming, I know you got Nick Popovich and your staff, they're obviously amazing at what they do, but to be able to only, you know, for a lot of us, you know, we could play 1-on-0 with a coach down one end and like you said, no contact, just super frustrating, especially when you see the rest of Australia, you know, guys in Brisbane and everyone's playing games and full practices with, you know, everyone there with training guys to us. We had 4 people for most of lockdown, but how frustrating was that to not be able to play and scrimmage and actually get up and down the floor?
Man, I was so jealous, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, and, you know, obviously now, you know, just really, I guess, grateful for the time that we do have to be able to get onto the court. And I guess it was a good thing in a way to kind of step back a bit and give my body time to rest and kind of reflect and to kind of restart. But yeah, I was really just jealous and yeah, as you said, frustrated because obviously the rest of Australia was kind of doing their thing and we were, you know, just locked up. But yeah, definitely a different situation. Definitely a different situation. Excuse me.
It's probably It's probably a good little segue into, it's obviously Movember coming up, the start of November, obviously mental health, suicide, obviously there's testicular and prostate cancer, but the whole mental health side of things, like, again, I'm sure you got great people and you seem like a super smart kid as well, but have you done anything to stay mentally sane while you've been locked in the house? You've just come to a brand new team. You haven't been able to go and have dinners and coffees and catch up and meet your new teammates. And like you said, we see everyone else around the world that we're pretty jealous of. Have you kind of done anything, whether it's, talk to family online or, walks on the beach or anything to kind of stay somewhat sane during this pretty crazy time?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've kind of been able to do a range of things and, I guess been pretty lucky in what I have been able to do. And I mean, the club's been great in terms of just keeping the players and the staff and everyone involved connected. When we would have had training, we'd always have like a Zoom meeting to make up for it when we were in that kind of lockdown period. So I still felt, we're really involved within the club and felt connected with everyone. But yeah, definitely spend a lot of time on FaceTime with the family back home in Traralgon and, a lot of friends all over Australia and all over the US from college as well. And then, yeah, really tried to get into a good routine. As I said, being able to kind of take a step back from the game and give my body time to rest that I haven't really had in years. So trying to get in a routine with doing yoga and stretching every day and meditating as well has been a really positive thing for me during this time.
Yeah, nice. And I'm sure you can't wait for the 25K border to open up so you can probably get back and see your family. I'm sure you're dying to do that. I want to get to like your junior. You're still a junior-ish, but starting out, obviously you went to the Australian Institute of Sport, but I think you were the Vic Male Basketball of the Year, I think in 2016. But how good was it going to the AIS? I remember being there. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, we're 11 other athletes like myself. They're all moved away from home for the first time. But how much fun was that going to the Australian Institute of Sport?
It was heaps of fun. And I think for me, that was probably the biggest step in my development as a player. I think I was really fortunate to be growing up in country Victoria, and then because I guess I really worked hard and I was somewhat above my age group, having the opportunity to play against men from an early age and, be around guys that, know how to take care of their bodies and just kind of be around a bit more of a professional environment. When I was younger, helped me transition really well into going to the Institute of Sport. And I think just being around that environment, obviously you have great facilities, strength conditioning, recovery, world-class coaches, but, going up against, the best players in the country every day really helped me excel my game. And I really pride myself on, being a competitor and, I don't like to lose. And, they're going to have days like that against the best players in the country. And, I think just that kind of motivated me to keep pushing myself. And as you said, living away from home, kind of learn how to be independent. And I think that really helped me, being somewhat of a stepping stone to making me transition really smoothly into going to the US and, living in a whole different country.
We'll get to that Duke in a minute and going to college, but you're right. Like the AS sets you up for not just basketball wise, you go from probably training once back at home to, three days at the AIS, but also the cooking, the cleaning, the looking after yourself at such a young age. It teaches you so many life skills that I think people don't give it as much credit for as the basketball side of things.
No, for sure. And they were really good about educating us on kind of everything that we were doing, whether it was, as you said, nutrition, recovery. All the people there are really passionate about what they do and trying to help, Australia's youth and, a range of different sports, just be better every day. And for me, another cool thing about the Institute was, after I graduated from high school and that kind of dead period where I wasn't going to school and before I went to college, I actually worked as a tour guide at the Institute. So it was really cool to learn about all the different sports and the history of the place even more and really just appreciate, the great place that I was so lucky to be in for a couple of years.
Well, there were some interesting jobs back at the AIS. I think I used to drive the golf buggy from the storeroom and just deliver boxes, but a lot of our teammates also were tour guides as well. You've represented Australia, and at any level when you get to wear the green and gold, it's obviously an honour. But to play, I think the under-16 FIBA Oceania Championships, the under-17 World Champs, under 19 world champs and the uni games. Like how big of an honor is it to wear the green and gold and play at, I guess, international tournaments for your country?
Yeah, mate. I mean, there's nothing like it. And for me, those have definitely been the biggest highlights of my career. You know, I've been lucky enough to travel the world playing and representing my country. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing like, you know, before a big game, listening to the national anthem and being arm in arm with your brothers at that point, and getting ready to go into battle and compete for a win. But yeah, definitely, you know, something I definitely don't take for granted, and something I definitely want to continue to do as much as I can throughout my career.
I'm not sure about the world champs, but obviously, you know, I think you won a bronze at the uni games. Like, to be able to get a medal at such a big tournament like that must have been pretty cool as well.
Yeah, it was an awesome experience, and kind of all that came about pretty quickly, and happened in the off season for me between my junior and senior year, and it was kind of, you know, tight packed, but something that I was really passionate and wanted to do. You know, luckily it all worked out, and was able to be a part of a great group of guys, a lot of whom I grew up playing with and competed against both the institute and at nationals and stuff like that. So it was really just a great opportunity to, I guess, just be indulged in another great group, and yeah, to come out with a medal and finish on a win was definitely a great feeling to finish it off.
For sure. Now, obviously, everyone that goes to college, goes to the Australian Institute of Sport, you're faced with two choices. It's either go professional in the NBL, maybe Europe, or go to college. Now, you're pretty close, I believe, to Boise State, potentially signing there. Obviously, I think John really was coaching there. You know, guys like Anthony Drimmick. How close were you to signing there before, obviously, the Cairns thing, which we'll get to in a second, kind of came up?
Yeah, I was battling in my own head, man. I'm not going to lie. So after I finished high school, I went and visited Boise State, Temple, and Hawaii, and that was my first ever going to the US. And if anyone wants to kind of look up where those schools are, it was a pretty big lap of the states for my first time. So it was a really cool experience. But yeah, I was kind of going back and forth between Boise and Hawaii after that, and yeah, pretty soon after that, the opportunity to go and be an injury replacement for Cairns. Unfortunately, Stevie Way went down with a knee, and you know, it was a really good opportunity for me to, you know, again, be involved in a really high level professional environment with Cairns, and, you know, Aaron Fern, and you know, going up against Torrey Craig, who's, as we all know, is in the NBA, and doing his thing. So for me, that was just an awesome experience, and to get a taste of the NBL and be around, you know, Torrey, Cam Glidden, Werther, all those guys were really good at kind of making me feel comfortable, and yeah, just helping me learn and navigate my way through that whole experience. So yeah, along with that, I kind of put off my college decision and decided just to, you know, try and stay present and focus on just making the most of the opportunity at hand with Cairns, and really trying to soak that up as best as I could. And then, yeah, during that time, you know, all the college stuff kind of got a bit crazier. Obviously, Duke came along, and schools like Arizona, Michigan State, and some other kind of high-level schools came knocking at the door. And it was actually funny. I remember after a practice one day at Cairns, my old man actually messaged me on Facebook saying that he just got off the phone with Coach Shire, who is an assistant at Duke, and I thought he was just playing around with me, because, like, who would have thought, you know? But then, yeah, like a couple of days later, I found myself on the phone with Coach K, and that was probably one of the most nerve-wracking phone calls I've ever had in my life, for sure. But yeah, it was just a surreal experience. I'm obviously just super grateful and feel really lucky for kind of everything falling into place how they did.
So the call from the assistant coach, your dad, that was the first contact that Duke kind of had with you and your family? Yeah,
and I think it kind of somewhat stemmed from Patrick Hunt having a really good relationship with Coach K, and
yeah,
and then again, you know, being involved at the Institute of Sport, which is, you know, where he's at a lot of the time. I guess he kind of just saw me going about my business and just kind of threw it out there, and yeah, I guess it just kind of worked out like that.
Now, obviously, you've now obviously decided to go to college, but you have the option, I guess, when you go to college. You can either go to a smaller school that obviously you play a lot more have a bigger role. You decided to go to Duke for a challenge for yourself. Talk me through that and why you chose to go there.
Yeah, so kind of during that period, I was going through this big internal battle. I was kind of on the phone every second day with Adam Gibson, who was my coach at the institute, and my parents, and trying to figure everything out. But I had a really good experience at Cairns and with the NBL, and following that was really kind of deliberating and deciding whether or not I wanted to take that path or take the college path. But ultimately for me, since I was about 13 or 14, when I really decided that basketball was something that I wanted to pursue seriously, I always kind of knew inside that I wanted to go to college. And a big thing for me, again, was the educational aspect of it, the opportunity to get a free education and from, a really high level school was something that I think is really important to me and my family as well. So I guess kind of going back and forth with myself, I knew that if I was going to go to college, I was really going to go to college, and knew that from the past 2 years being at the institute, that being a part of, a challenging environment was something that made me better. And yeah, going to Duke, the first 2 years were definitely a huge challenge. I didn't play a lot. I was trying to kind of navigate being in a new country and trying to work out, how I could contribute to a really successful team. But I think, looking back on it, I'm really grateful for doing that. And, every day in practice, I was going up against the likes of, Jason Tatum, Luke Kennard, Grayson Allen. I mean, I could go on and on, just the star-studded players that I was able to compete against every day. And even though I wasn't playing a lot, I definitely felt like I was improving, as much as it was frustrating, because I love to compete, I love to play, and that's all I really wanted. But just really tried to focus on running my own race in a way. And I was actually thinking about pulling out of college after my sophomore year, because that was when RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish and Zion committed, and they're all my size, my position, and yeah, was really kind of unsure about where I sat in the program. And I decided to stick it out, in part due to the educational part of Duke, obviously being a high level school, but just to prove something to myself that if I can just focus on the things that I can control, I can make it work. And ended up having a really good summer and summer, and came back to school, and had really good workouts for the whole period before the season against those guys, and ended up becoming captain of the team with my best mate, Javin. And yeah, just kind of went up from there, and kind of worked out how I could contribute to a really good team.
You mentioned that first year, obviously it was frustrating, playing behind Jason Tatum. Do you ever think, man, maybe I should have gone to a smaller school? Like, obviously you thought you were improving, but obviously you still want to play like every athlete wants to play. Were there ever doubts kind of popping for that first year of just obviously not playing at all?
Yeah, for sure. And not even that, whether I even should have came to the States in the first place. But yeah, and looking back now, it's a bit easier in hindsight, but it was definitely thoughts across my head, and being away from family, again, trying to kind of navigate a new country. It was tough, I'm not going to lie, and definitely had my battles over there, but I had a really good support network at Duke, and the coaches were great, and my teammates were unbelievable in terms of making me feel part of a group and kind of having more than one family. So that really comforted me, and encouraged me to stay focused with my academics and my athletics, and yeah, just to kind of keep taking it day by day and try to make the most of each opportunity I got. And I kept just reminding myself that I'm living like my dream right now. Like, what am I to complain about? Not only my dream. I know there are so many people around the world that would kill to be in the position that I was able to be in there. So I think it'd be a disservice to myself and to other people, and just to be ungrateful for not trying to make the most of the position that I'm in. And I guess that's really just how I've tried to look at it throughout my whole time. And even now, I'm living the dream, mate. Like, to be able to play basketball for a living and do something that I love and wake up every day and just go hoop and and lift and do all that kind of, like, man, like I got nothing to complain about, you know.
It's pretty special, huh? It must have been. I don't know how they do it in America at college, but to be named captain, that must be a pretty special honor for one of the biggest schools in probably college history. How was that? Like, how did you find out about being captain and that honor of being a captain of that team?
Well, I'm pretty sure it was towards the end of our summer over there, and after one of the workouts, coach just took me and Javin to the side and just kind of let us know pretty quietly, and it was really special, especially to do it with him, you know, because we kind of had similar experiences where, you know, we didn't play as much. He was a really good, like, highly ranked player in high school, and, you know, kind of went on a bit of a roller coaster with me in terms of, you know, just navigating the whole experience. But yeah, it was pretty low key, honestly. And then, you know, it was announced to the team, and that was pretty cool to see the support that they showed us. And I think the cool thing about it, though, was that it didn't really change anything about myself or him, or even the dynamic of the group. You know, I was really just trying to be myself the whole time. And, you know, I feel like I'm a pretty vocal person, especially when I get on the court, and just try to do things the right way. And it really didn't feel like I had to, you know, I really feel like I didn't have a hard job. You know, the guys that I was surrounded, the guys that were surrounding me on the team were just really top-notch guys and really low maintenance. And it was really just a pleasure to play with them, let alone captain them. But it wasn't like I had to, you know, pull guys into line or do anything of that nature. So for the 2 years that I was able to be captain, it didn't really change a lot for me. I was just really fortunate to have that title and have that, I guess, respect, and feel like I had earned that.
Yeah.
And after my senior year, actually, I'm pretty sure me and Javin were like one of 14 or 15 guys who were like dual captains at Duke. So that was like a pretty cool thing. And just an honor, you know, to be named captain once, but to do it twice is something that I'm really proud of.
For sure. I watched a lot of your games on ESPN, and you talked about the three guys, obviously Cam Reddish, RJ, and Zion. Like, how much fun was that just to, obviously you guys had a great season, but to run and obviously all the hype around it, but you guys are obviously playing some great basketball. Obviously you're out there as well being a part of that, but just to play with those guys and just to run and gun and that, it looked like it was so much fun to play and be a part of.
For sure. It was. And the really cool thing about like all those guys, not just those guys, but all the guys that I've played with is, I think it's fair to say that as good as they were to watch, you know, on the court and go about, you know, playing basketball, they were just as good off, like just fantastic people, and really made, as I said, my job as captain, you know, really, really easy. And the only difference in kind of that role was just going to talk to the refs before the game. But yeah, definitely a lot of fun, and something that I'm really, what's the word I want to use? Just grateful to be around those kinds of guys, and again, just to see them progress in their own right, in their own career, and continue to work. You know, as naturally talented as they are, you know, I can't deny that they definitely didn't put in the work, both, you know, in the weight room, on the court, away from the court. So yeah, they deserve everything that comes their way and has come their way. So it's really cool to be able to have that more of a personal relationship with those guys and just check in with them, and just kind of see him a bit more below the surface of what most people get to see him as.
We talked about before about being jealous of, you know, seeing like other states. I'm certainly jealous of that stadium you guys played in, the Cameron Indoor Stadium, and just what are they, the Cameron Crazies, like just seeing those games and the crowd just give it to the opposition and just everything they do, I think would be amazing to play in front of. Like that must have been unbelievable to play in front of your home crowd like that, with them kind of all up and about and giving so much energy to the game. Yeah,
there's absolutely nothing like it. It's hard to explain, actually. Like, all the students, you know, stay standing for the whole game. They camp out during the winter. You know, it snows in North Carolina. It's raining, and these guys are just intense camping out just to have the opportunity to see us play. It's actually unreal, the culture at the school and the support we get from everybody. And yeah, every time we step out there, it's definitely a huge honor and a huge privilege, and something that sometimes I definitely have to just pinch myself to be like you're really here. And not only that, the opportunity to play at Madison Square Garden and go and play at Chapel Hill, and can only I could go on forever about how cool these places are to play at. So it's just been a huge highlight of my time, and something that I'll definitely cherish.
I know you said it a bunch of times, but Coach K is probably one of the best to ever do it. Being able to play under him, such a well-renowned, achieved so much, both obviously at college, the Olympics, I think 3 gold medals, but to play under him and be around him must have obviously helped your game a lot on and off the court as well.
No question. I think the biggest thing I learned from him was, just seeing what hard work and dedication looks like. And for him, he was just never satisfied, even though he'd won 5 national championships, 3 gold medals, over 1,000 wins. The way he went about his business every single day, no matter if we were playing UNC or we were playing like an exhibition game, like attention to detail and seriousness and his drive in everything that he did was just inspiring, honestly. Especially at his age, he's about to be 73, I think, or 74 or something like that.
Yeah.
And, obviously at the latter end of his career, but just how he goes about everything and the amount of pride he takes in his work was something that really, I guess, rubbed off on our teams. So, yeah, to be surrounded by him, and especially to have him for the 4 years is something that, again, something I kind of have to pinch myself over, and just to be able to get to know him and who he is as a person. And, he's often just seen as this figure that in the basketball world that is so big time. And just like I kind of said before about that phone call, I was just so nervous. I don't think that really went away for the 4 years. Every time I spoke to him, I was kind of like aware of his presence, for a lack of a better way to put it. But yeah, it was just unbelievable.
Oh, it must make you feel good that you've left a lasting impression on him. I'm sure you've seen this. I'm just going to read one of his quotes. Jack was the best teammate ever. Hard worker, came to work every day. One of the easiest kids to coach that I've had the opportunity to coach in my 45 years as a collegiate coach. That must make you feel pretty good to know that you've had that kind of impact on a coach, kind of that big, when, we've gone through all the names of the NBA guys and whatever, but the fact that I guess you've left that lasting impression for your 4 years with him, obviously says a lot about who you are as a person.
Yeah, I think I remember, because I'm pretty sure Melbourne, we reached out and just for some media stuff for when I first signed, and I got sent the video from when he made it, and it almost made me cry. Like it was pretty surreal to hear that come from him, and he's someone that obviously idolized, and as a competitor, as a winner, and just someone that goes about things the right way. And to hear him say those things about me is something that I'm really proud of, and was something that was, I just can't even explain it, man. Like, he's such an incredible person above all else, as well as a coach, competitor and all that. So to hear that come from him, I respect him, tenfold. And it was just really flattering to hear that.
He's obviously said a bunch more, about being a great defender, rebounder, the competitor, which you said yourself a lot. He obviously considered you a great competitor, and just you'll add so much to the culture of Melbourne. You'll fit right in. Why did you choose Melbourne? Obviously, you would have had a few options in the NBL, but why was Melbourne ultimately the final choice to start your professional career?
Yeah, I mean, there are a number of reasons. I think I'd be lying if I said that my involvement with the club, coming back and being able to work out here with the team in each off season was, and developing that level of comfort and knowing the guys, knowing the staff, was definitely a big part of it. And something that I didn't really have to go through in the whole transition to becoming a professional athlete. But I mean, I think there was a really great opportunity for me here to not only play, but just to learn, even in, I was talking with my housemate about this before, that like we were playing ones today and just watching like Shea Ely defend like is incredible. And like if I could just draw a few things from him, mate, I'd be stoked. Like just how he goes about his stuff. And, you start talking about Dave Barlow, Chris Golding, Dean Vickerman, the coach, everyone involved. I think everyone on this squad's really got something that they can bring to the table at a really high level. And for me, just really wanted to come in and be a sponge as a new guy and really just try and soak up as much as I can. I think the culture here at the club is really good, and yeah, mate, that I could go on forever, keep going and going, but it was just a decision that I felt really comfortable with and happy about once it was said and done, and was really fortunate in terms of the options that kind of came my way. But and yeah, just really felt comfortable at the end of the day. Signing with this club, and I know that they want to push me to be better, just like I want to push myself, and just want to win, and they just want to win, and I think kind of our mindsets aligned pretty well.
You certainly just mentioned some great people. Obviously, you can learn off. You kind of in that position where I'm not sure what your role with the club will be. Whether you can obviously play the wing position, big enough to play the 4 like Barlow's done for many years, but to learn off, guys like Chris, who I've heard shooting the absolute lights out of practice. Obviously Shea with his defense, he's like unbelievable, probably one of the best defenders in our league. And then you got Barlow, who as a trail 4 was a 3-man, just multiple guys that you can learn off. Where do you see yourself playing this year? Do you see more on the wing, a bit of 4? Where do you kind of see yourself slotting in with United?
Yeah, I think offensively it'll be a bit of a mix between being on the wing and playing that small ball 4 as Barlow does. And then, yeah, I think defensively, something I pride myself on is being a versatile defender. So, I'm sure, playing the 4, we'll be switching a lot, and I find myself with different matchups. But yeah, bit on the wing, bit in the small ball 4.
You've played, obviously there's a lot of new guys coming to the league, some that have been around, but the chance to play against old mates, old teammates like DJ, I think Angus Glover, I think Will Magnay you play with, the Frolings, like it must be pretty excited to come back. And obviously you've been away for a while now, but to come back and play against them and see them every now and then on court. I always love playing against past teammates and whatever, but to come back and play against some of your mates, that must be something you're looking forward to. Yeah,
for sure. And all those guys, for most of them I went to the institute with, and everyone kind of split off and did their own thing, different paths. But it's pretty cool now that we all find ourselves back in the same league and able to compete against each other again. But yeah, it's cool again. A big reason kind of, I guess, when I was younger, why I wanted to go to college was because I didn't see a whole lot of youth in the league, and I guess a smooth transition from finishing high school and finishing juniors and kind of making an impact in the pros straight away. So it's just really cool, and I guess encouraging to see a lot of young guys running around in the league. So we got the next stars, Josh Giddey, Mo King, and guys like that coming in. So I think, yeah, it's just a really good thing for the league that, we have a lot of really talented youth coming through as well as, really high level seasoned vets hanging around. But yeah, definitely keen to, catch up and compete with those guys as well as everyone else in the league.
You just mentioned that youth. I had that next, like the amount of young kids, like you said, Giddey, King, Max Darling, Wigners, Krebs, all the next stars, Isaac White, just an unbelievable group of young kids coming through that just, I didn't realize how many there were till I was talking to the NBL just before the interview, but to know that all these young kids like yourself are coming through just to, I guess, boost the NBL up, and the basketball in Australia is already looking good, but to have all you kind of youth coming through is exciting for the game.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. As we were just going through that list, I was just kind of like checking them off in my head. I'm like, wow, like there is a lot of young guys in the league. And yeah, I think it's just exciting. I think the league this year overall is just going to be really exciting. I think, especially from what I've experienced so far with our team, we really want to be really great defensively and run and get out in lanes. And, hopefully the season gets to a point where we can, play the home and away and try and get plenty of fans to games and stuff like that, and really create, a great environment and atmosphere for us to play in. But yeah, it's just a really cool thing and a really a positive thing for the league that's kind of a direction that's now possible for young guys to take. And I know all those guys, really would have had high level schools knocking at their door and everything like that. So I think it's a really big compliment to the league that they feel like this is a place where they can come in and not only have an opportunity to play, but a really good place where they can continue to learn and develop as well.
You could not have said that better. The fact that you're right, they probably would have had some big time offers like you would have had back in the day, but the fact that they're choosing to stay in the NBL says a lot about where the league's at. So yeah, you couldn't have said that better. Mate, that's all I had for you. I appreciate you taking time out. I know you just got home from practice, but I think United have a great pickup in yourself. No doubt you do amazing things. We can't wait for this season to start, and I'm sure you can't wait to get out of lockdown and go home and see your family, mate. So I appreciate you taking time, and I can't wait for the season to start either.
No, I appreciate it, mate. Thanks for having me. Again, good chatting to you. I think it's the first time we've ever had a chat, so pleasure to meet you as well.
It is, man. I always love doing these because, like yourself, we haven't really had much of a conversation, but to learn and you watch you on TV and whatever, and you don't really know what kind of person someone is until you actually talk to them. So, like I said, I think United got a great pickup. Your head is so switched on and super smart, and the focus you have around just being a great teammate and competitor and not taking the easy way out, I think you'll have a very long career in this league and probably elsewhere. So, all the best for the season, man. I wish you all the best. Not too well against us, hopefully, but I can't wait to get the season started. So, thanks again.
No, mate, I appreciate it. Looking forward to being part of my first throwdown, right? Throwdown number 5.
Let's do it. I love it.